As we wind down the legislature a little more, the budget talk continued to heat up. Today, the Legislative Budget Office projections came out for what the ending fund revenue will be for the state of Montana. It's about $104 million less than what the governor's office has said. Of course, the battle of words between the budget office and the governor's office will continue until the legislators vote on what they want to shoot for a final number. The difference is that there was, because of some federal tax action, they'll collect about $63 or $20 million less this year in revenue because of federal changes in the budget on business equipment tax. So that's one of the changes that the legislature is going to have to look at and deal with. School education or school funding has come up this week again. A lot of talk about the big bill for changing the funding to take some of the money from the eastern coal and oil rich counties to fund education in western Montana. Getting a cold shoulder from a lot of legislators from the east. Interestingly enough, no surprise really, is that the western schools are standing in line looking for that money, particularly some of the faster growing school districts with higher costs. That's going to prove to be a very contentious issue as we get closer to the end of the legislature. Bills that are brewing this week, the beef checkoff bill, that was a bill that would require the Department of Livestock to take over the beef checkoff once again, taking it back from the Beef Council. They've claimed that it costs them $100 and some thousand a year to fund that program above and beyond what they are taking in, the amount of money they collect for the program. And so they've decided not to do that. This bill would require them to do that unless a legislative audit showed that their costs were well above the 5% that they are required to get by the federal act. So that bill is up for hearing today. Also this afternoon is the plant protection or the intellectual property bill. And that deals with biotech and some issues. That bill is a consensus bill worked on during the interim and is being supported by the organic folks, the conventional farmers. Farm Bureau will be supporting that. A good bill, shouldn't see much trouble in the House. It sailed through the Senate on a good vote. Continue to work on eminent domain, a big issue. Representative Flynn's bill came out yesterday, House Bill 240. That bill sets up a process for doing eminent domain, definite timelines, actions that companies or the respondents can condemnors or condemnees have to take. Farm Bureau supports that timeline. There's a provision in there that places a fairly significant tax on the companies if they have to utilize eminent domain. There's some question on the constitutionality or the ability just to make that work. Looks like now that the tax portion of that bill will be stripped out and we'll get a process bill for eminent domain. Farm Bureau has 3 eminent domain reform strategies, or a strategy that includes 3 parts. One of those is process, which the Flynn bill would cover. Another one is ongoing compensation. Our members are concerned about ongoing compensation. Senate Bill 831 by Senator Jones out of Conrad would have some ongoing compensation. It looks like that may be thrown into a study during the interim, as well as the third part of our strategy, which is planning, some way to plan where the power generation will be, where the markets would be, and how where the corridors are and how we get that power to those markets. Again, as we edge closer to the end, some of the general bills start slowing down, but budget pictures start to heat up. We've been working with the Department of Livestock, working on their budget, trying to help them get that budget through the legislature, working on the Montana Ag Experiment Station Extension Service budget and the Department of Ag budget.